Hello, you guys. I wanted to talk to you guys about the LA riots that are happening. I live within the, what would you call it? Not close to what's going on, but outside of what's going on. And honestly, it's normal here. But the things that you see on the social media feed, it's crazy. Honestly, I've been trying to avoid seeing it and reading all the comments. I'm waiting to be more updated on what's been going on. But as far as from an outside point of view, and I apologize for the noise I'm getting on the freeway. As far as in my limited information, what it seems like is that we are witnessing a principle versus practical reality situation here. The principle, or the ideology, it's the Republicans versus the Democrats, right? That's one of the main reasons why someone would be a Democrat versus a Republican, the issue of immigration. And especially California being a sanctuary state, right, where you are pretty much safe to come here if you're an illegal immigrant, and it's just kind of a normal thing we see in California. And the first that I heard of what was going on is that the ICE, the immigration people, were going after the immigrants that were in Home Depot. If you're not familiar, it's a hardware store. So it's, like I said, it's been one of the most normal things. Now, whether you agree or not, but the reality is, it's been one of the most normal things that if people in California or Los Angeles want help with a particular thing, you want an assistant, you want a handyman. If you want someone to do a labor job that would be really expensive, someone here, they charge a lot compared to what you would have to pay someone that's willing to do it for less. You go to Home Depot and you ask, you say, this is what I need, and you take them to the place or whatever. Some of them have their truck, and they do hauling and all kinds of stuff. And it's just been the way that people do it. You look for the better deal. That's how it has always been. You never, ever, 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 ever have had the impression, or I don't know, I've never heard on the news that people from these illegal immigrants have caused problems to people. Nothing like that. It's just, so it was to find out like what's the information, what was the strategy. To me, it seemed like it was going strategically well up until now. The way that they were going about this ideological battle against illegal immigration. And to me, I disagree that you should pursue lack of peace. You should pursue going after illegal immigrants at the cost of starting riots. And the riots is obviously it's not on them, because people decide. I honestly think that there's someone behind the riots. It's not your typical illegal immigrants. It reminds me so much of the riots that happened in like Minneapolis when the Black Lives Matter controversy was happening, and George Floyd supporters, it seemed very staged at times. It seemed like there were some people that were orchestrating certain things and materials and all of that. They wanted to rile up people. That's what it seemed like to me. And like later on, you hear more details about what was going on with the police department, how they were totally abandoned pretty much by their leadership. And I'd hate for that situation to happen like in Los Angeles. It almost resembles that, in my opinion, like seeing the images of police cars being lit, lit up and flames. To me, like if you're going to fight an ideological war, so to speak, in LA, then part of that war is, the images that are coming up, and because that's going to influence more people to come and do more of that stuff, especially if you're concerned with police officers. You don't want anything bad happening to them. You don't want to endanger them. Their lives are already, their jobs are already dangerous, so don't make it an even more dangerous situation for them. It's just always been, I've heard the leadership of ICE, heard them say pretty much that they were gonna, like, if the state wouldn't support them, if California's governor or mayor, the LA mayor, they weren't going to help assist, then that would be breaking the law. And so they were pretty much going to come in and expect them to comply. And to me, that's where reality kicks in, and I'm not sure that they're going about it the right way. As forceful as they're going about it, I don't think it's right to cause this much division. It's just, people are just trying to live their lives. We just want like peace, we want our government officials to make sure that our existence is as peaceful as possible. And I get it, go after the people that are violent and a danger to society, but going after, like, if you're going to come and deport people, make sure you're going after like the most dangerous people, and then you could debate the whole thing about what do you do with the people that are being peaceful, but yet they're still illegal immigrants. Like, obviously that's a debate about how do you navigate that, and that's not what I'm here to talk about. But yeah, I did want to mention that before this very strong position of Trump and Republicans that are really, really, I guess we could say that they're very principled when it comes to this topic, that they really, really, they're black and white. If you're not here legally, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're someone at Home Depot or whatever, you have to be deported, you know. And just hearing these perspectives, watching some of the people that I would listen to on like Daily Wire, I noticed the little things. I like just people, just regular people on my Facebook and things like that. People that I respect their perspectives on a lot of things, but just hearing how some people choose to call people illegals versus illegal immigrants. It has changed my perspective on how I see myself, because, you know, I was able to be a citizen because I was born here. And hearing the debate about whether that should be the case or not, whether that's the Constitution or not, and it's fine with me. Let's if necessary, let's take it to the Supreme Court and let's look at that and make sure that we are doing things that our founders were about. And then, you know, the ethics or the Christianity component as well, because if our founders were immoral, then we're not going to be pursuing immoral laws. You know, we're going to be as Christian as possible with our principles, with our ethics. So just hearing all of these things, I used to really identify as like 100% American. Growing up and being in among immigrants, illegal immigrants, I always like identified as American. I'm an American citizen. I was born here. My paperwork it's good, and it's as simple as like I would watch sports, soccer games from time to time. And as a young girl, Mexico's playing versus the USA, and it's like, oh, where's my allegiance? You know, like, what do I identify as? Like, obviously my parents, my ethnicity. It's always been a thing in my mind. Like, I'm Mexican, but first I'm American, so I'm going to root for USA. That was always my mentality. But when I started to hear other, Americans that are Americans, not the same, they didn't become American the way I did. I'm just watching what's going on the street. Just little moments happen, and I'm like, I have to process them. All of that has made me realize that I'm more different than what I've grown up thinking, and maybe there's more that I need to consider and think about. About this, because I'm just going to share where I'm at right now. Watching the riots and the way our government is going about illegal immigration, it truly does make me feel like someone has mentioned to me, obviously on social media, you shouldn't really care too much what people tell you, but I mean, sometimes it does make you think. Someone said something like you shouldn't have become a citizen, even though you technically shouldn't be here because your parents came in. My parents did come in legally, but they didn't stay legally. That was our situation. And I was able, when I reached a certain age, I was able to fix their paperwork so that they are legal citizens now. And they're good citizens and they vote and everything, and identify as Americans. Obviously their loyalty is American, and so now I feel more like just seeing myself through the perspective of anti-immigration people, including, the people that I listen to, and that they argue that people that are born here shouldn't be American citizens. I see it kind of makes me feel like I'm not a citizen, not the first level, but the second level of an American. And definitely makes me feel unwanted by it's just, you can't really separate it too much because the majority, obviously, and nothing wrong with it, the majority of Americans are white. And so it's just the situation that it is, that the majority of the people speaking against illegal immigration are going to be white. And it just comes across that way sometimes, that you think of like white people and you start to think white people don't like, brown people. And obviously that hasn't been my experience. I've never had someone outright, like in real life, make me feel that, wow, this person is racist. I mean, I live here in like the Los Angeles area, so it's a lot of different people here, and the minority around this area, I mean, you have white people, you have all kinds of people, but they're not necessarily the majority in certain cities. So sometimes when you hear from people that they do live in places where they are the majority, and it's just interesting. And so I see myself more like, hey, this whole time you were being taught that we're like this melting pot, and you hear different perspectives, right? But the ones that my general understanding was that you have to learn the language, obviously. You have to be patriotic, and you have to, your loyalty is America. So you're an American, and now I see myself more like, hey, recognize that you are a different kind of American, because even the way you speak, your experience growing up, your parents' first language Spanish, and going to the schools that I went to, not being the greatest, even the way I speak, sometimes, I don't know, it's like I'm neither, because when I speak Spanish, I get stuck on certain words. Like I don't know how you say a certain word necessarily. I'm like making it up. It sounds Spanish, but it's not the right way of saying it. So it's the way I speak, the way I'm in the middle, it's a reminder of, hey, you're not like one of the Americans that it's just English has always been their primary language. Parents, their experience has been completely different. And then, the way I look, I mean, I identify as an American, but like what do people think when they see me? First of all, they probably don't know what I am. That's what I've always heard. And so I'm feeling very, very Mexican these days when I'm experiencing on the news that there are these riots happening, and it's interesting seeing like certain people on the side of the immigrants here, and it's just like, where do I land? I mean, I know where I land politically, but it's just kind of a crazy thing, because as much as I don't think it has to be a ethnicity thing, or some people say it as a race thing, there's a gravitational pull where it's like, what are you? And some people seem to say, no, you shouldn't have been a citizen. We don't want people in your situation today. What your situation was that you became a citizen. We don't want people like you today to become citizens. So it's very it makes me want to avoid entering in that space, because I think we're not having intellectual conversations about the topic, because we're so extreme with our positions that we can't just be calm and have these conversations peacefully, like debate peacefully. And politicians don't help, because elections, and it's always let's get people angry, let's use people so that we can be elected, and I feel that as a Christian especially, you have to guard yourself from being political pawns and getting all like lost in feelings because of politics. So yeah, it makes me think. It challenges me, as I identify as a Republican. It challenges me to consider other solutions as a Christian. It makes me want to think more, listen to more like debates between Christians about the topic of immigration. And because as these things are happening in real time, I want to be a consistent Christian. My loyalty is to what the Bible teaches about any topic, including immigration. As far as my regular life, I mean, I'm not part of ICE or anything, so I do believe that as Christians, we're called to love. So whoever it is, regardless of their citizenship paperwork, we're called to love people, and just that should be the posture of our heart and practicality. And I'm doing my best, honestly, to not go obviously to the area where people are starting things, but I believe we should be praying no matter what our positions are. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, we should be praying that this doesn't turn into something, long term. These riots, that they don't spread to like other cities, little, neighborhoods, that we're enjoying peace. It's been nice not to have riots for a while, and now that this is happening, it's like No, don't want to feel like we're living in those days again, like when COVID was happening and all these race things were on the news all the time. I don't know if I personally am I'm exhausted from everything that happened. I'm exhausted from the election, all the strife. It's not my thing. I don't like living in that temperature, like just political temperature. It's not my thing. I don't like the political game. And I think the Bible teaches us to pray so that we may enjoy peaceful lives, that our government officials would be Christians, and so that Christians can have a peaceful existence and all that. So, a lot of other things are going on in my life that I know I'm exhausted. I'm just exhausted from life, and that's when politics feel especially draining, when it's like, no, I don't have any more. I don't have another drop I can't invest emotionally to these things. And it's interesting because I don't know if that's the situation with men in general. Like, you could let me know in the comments area, as men or as certain women, do you feel like you're emotionally drained from politics? Or is it just like you're able to compartmentalize and not involve your emotions to the point that it affects you? But you get angry, you get upset or whatever, but you're able to just, yeah, we're going to leave that over there. Or if maybe it's a certain type of man that's very passionate about these things, and you do get emotionally drained because you're very passionate about your position politically. And yeah, I would appreciate your comments in the comment section. Please, if I could just ask you to word it as respectfully as possible, but as honestly as your opinion is. I can respect that. But I really would like to hear your perspectives, because I do grow from hearing certain perspectives on these topics. It really does help shape my perspective. It has in the past, and yeah, your opinions are valuable, especially, if you're a Christian. Yeah, share your perspectives on it. And if you're in a similar situation as me, let me know what your experience is. Are you like having these thoughts like me about what kind of an American are you in the eyes of other Americans? At the end of the day, I did just want to probably close it with this. At the end of the day, if you look back enough, I mean, your ancestors came to America. You have an immigration story of your own. But I think that sometimes it's kind of uneducated of us to assume, yeah, like I am owed more of a citizenship status, or like I'm more morally right in my citizenship, and then you only limit yourself to, because my grandparents, we've always been here legally, but you don't see yourself like way back when you have your own immigration story. And yes, there are a lot of people that they have nothing against diversity. They have nothing against immigration. They are, I mean, I don't know how many, what are the ratios that some people might be like, yes, we only want the white culture to continue to be dominant because for whatever reason. And to me, that does border onto like racist ideas. But there are other, like, including in white people, and I say white people because it's the majority. It's still the majority, and yeah, it's relevant. White, nothing wrong with being white and being the majority. It's just a reality, you know. And there are a lot of white people that they're not the white people from the racist times that we experienced. Well, we didn't experience, but our country experienced during the Civil War. These are people that maybe they did have like relatives that were racist, but they have, you know, made their own decisions and lived their own experiences where like they've educated themselves better, and they hold on to Christian views that are not racist, because Christianity combats racism. A lot of what Martin Luther King Jr. used was the Bible to make the case we are all made in the image of God. And so you have a lot of people that they are in favor of like ICE going about doing this, but not for racist reasons, but they're like, it's a problem, and they have legitimate reasons that including people that have become citizens would agree with them. Like, yeah, we have problems with immigration, and it's fair of you to say that. So I want to be clear that I'm not saying that everyone is against diversity, but I think it's a lack of, in the way that we talk about these things, we're not fair to immigrants today. We don't remember that everyone has an immigration story. And so like the position of immigration, there's a lot of grace, right? Because our own story, like we were not fair to the people that were here already, so legally or whatever, I don't know, that's another topic. But like we did our own, as a country, we weren't necessarily the moral ones, we were the conquerors, right? And that's, again, reality. That's what happens. I'm not saying that everything, the way we did it, was right, but if we could keep in mind the realities, the ugly realities of our origins, of our own immigration story as a country, of our rebellion against the law of the time, you know, we took over our colonies. I mean, we were under another law, but I mean, we're little rebels, yeah. And we're proud of that. But anyway, yeah, I think sometimes the conversations are very like, especially in Christian circles, it's a sin to blah blah blah, and then it's almost like you want to prop yourself up as I'm a true Christian because I'm against breaking the law and so forth. So it's not very productive, because it's like we're having a very shallow conversation, and I guess maybe a lot of people are not interested in diving deep into these topics, but it would be helpful, I think, and we might be more productive as a nation going about, you know, getting a hold of the problem of the harm in illegal immigration regarding substances that are coming in, and trafficking that's happening with people, and all of that. If we're just so concerned about just, no, I'm pro-immigration, I'm against immigration, then it's like that doesn't help us to all say we all agree that this violence, that these bad people doing bad things to our country, you know, doing bad things to the people that are trying to get in. I mean, I think it's going to take a certain kind of culture to be able to solve this problem. And so I don't know. I'm just, am I being ideological now? I don't know. So I'll leave it at that. And alright guys, if you are interested in personal updates, I have a Patreon account, and you can become a member also. If you don't want to do Patreon, you can become a member of this channel, and I'm sharing videos about personal updates, what's going on, you know, behind the scenes of these videos. And you can also sign up to my newsletter at my website, susanmorales.org, and I send you a newsletter, and it's lately a lot has been going on, so I will be sending one this month in June, so you can sign up for that. Thank you so much to my supporters. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I would love to have you here. It's been a little slow on the channel because things have been going on, but I'll be sharing more soon. So thank you so much again for watching this video. Please give me a like, and I'll talk to you on the next one.